And hello there, everyone. Good to see you, Paul Tranny. Hope you don't mind the simple intro. It's good to have you here. I'm more of the design evangelist, but I'm going to be taking over the draw along, which usually is with Kyle T. Webster. But this is going to be fun nonetheless. And yeah, I want to say welcome to everybody who's joining me today. Hopefully this day finds you well and happy and healthy and all the good things. And know that I appreciate you. Appreciate you hanging out with me. So I see you, Sam Peterson, in the house, working his butt off. Reverb Mike in the house. Oh, good. Reverb Mike, I always appreciate your level of Photoshop knowledge. So this is good. Cornell, good to see you here. Paloma, Mallory, Hamza. What a good day we're going to have. That we've actually been having, by the way. I'm here in beautiful Denver, Colorado, where it has been snowing. And yeah, we went from record highs down to cold temperatures. But enough about that. Hopefully the weather's good where you are and you guys are doing well. Thomas Benner, Austin, Texas in the house. And here I am, Paul, in Illustrator actually. And not only that, but I also have Illustrator on the iPad. So we could even switch over to that just so you could see it, just for fun, because we might be working in here as well. So I thought that would just be kind of fun to do. Do some drawing in Illustrator on the desktop and also on iPad. So that is the plan. You can see kind of a couple things that I've been working on, and we can kind of dive into how we would draw something like this. So we could take a couple of these. Here's one that I've actually just, I don't know, kind of finished. But let's take a look at this. Here's an idea of, you know, sort of what you can create in Illustrator on the iPad, which is not out yet, but can't wait for it to come out. But you have lots of options. I love the different repeat options, which we can get into. But you can see I'm actually just working on some playing cards. So I thought we'd do some fun flowers and just kind of get loose with drawing, create some nice flowers, some vector versions, and then show how we can take them to the next level in Illustrator on the iPad. So hopefully that works for you. Okay, so that's the plan. I like the skull down here as well. See the skull? I do need to make his hand like just a skeleton hand. So that's an element that I need to work on. And I need to just make some more flowers and stuff. And also it'd be fun to create the back of this card, right? So a lot of things we can do. In fact, there's more options and more things going on here because I also have the jack that's in progress as well. So let's switch back to my desktop and get going because I only have 30 minutes. There we are. I'm back. Let's go into Create New. I typically have a file, by the way. I don't know if you guys use these as well. Flynn or Paloma or anyone. I actually have created this like super duper powers file that I have everything in. So I'll click Create. What this is this is a file that has all of my swatches that I want, all of the brushes that I use, right? And it's basically set up even with some symbols. And if we take a look at the, what else? Styles, graphic styles. Let's go into graphic styles. We even have some graphic styles in here. So I've actually made this like starter file that gets me up and running quickly, okay? So if there's some things in here that you don't notice, well, hey, that's probably the case. But right in here, let's just kind of grab some flowers. So we'll go to my libraries panel, we'll go to nature, and we'll have some fun just kind of creating and then really show how I would create those cards as well. Kind of how I did do them is the plan. So keep the conversation going. Feel free to say hello. And let's take a look at what we have. So right down in here, so let's say for instance I wanted to add a butterfly. So let's kind of grab this monarch butterfly, drop it right in here. We need to do some flowers as well, because if you know me, you know I'm going to make some flowers. Right, here's another image, some lovely flowers that we can work with. And I even like this one as well. Click that and add that in there. So we have a number of elements that we get to add that we'll have fun with. I'll just drag out a couple more. Lots of resources, right? And this is what I usually do. It's like you could work from a photo, you can work freehand. And by the way, I've licensed this. I've licensed this one already. I've already licensed it on my other account. You know, it's already licensed. Trust me. I have 2 different accounts. It's a whole thing, but there's my butterfly. Okay. So if I was going to make me a Joker, a number of things I could do is I could start with making some of these flowers, right? And we can get used to making some of these flowers and then add them to the Joker card. Okay. So right in here, here's these lovely flowers. I'll typically lock down that layer, add a new layer on top of it, and start drawing on top of it. Okay, and typically what I'll use is I could use the pen tool, right? Coming in here, selecting the pen tool, making sure the foreground color doesn't have anything in it, and we'll just do a click and drag and start to wrap around some of these. You'll notice immediately, by the way, butterflies, that my stroke here is already like larger, by the way, because in my starter file, I unchecked this. I say, hey, new art doesn't have basic appearance. All the new art should be set to actually like 4 point, because that's how thick everything should be, right? So that's what I've done is I've modified that. I can kind of come in here, hit N. So again, for the pen tool, you could see how this works. I'm kind of clicking and dragging and all that fun stuff. If you happen to click off, by the way, I missed this part. I can hold the space bar and the space bar will pick it back up because I haven't let up on my mouse yet. So I'll go right over here, slap it down like so, right? And kind of create this other part like so. There we are. Zoop, zoop. Let's give it color, shall we? I for eyedropper. Actually, let's not do that. Let's just jump right in here and pick a color. Like this. And a little bit purple, a little bit special. There we are. We can see this one. This part wraps around. We can always edit that as well. So cool. This is typically what I'd start with. I'd just take an object and I'd start outlining it, right? Pretty easy. Question for Paul. Anyone who knows if you open that starter file from another computer with all those assets, automatically carry over with the file? The answer is no. Okay, so it's not going to carry over because it's actually pulling from a certain location. I knew you were going to ask me that. I knew it. And now I got to find the location. It's actually right down here. Let me show you. Show and closing folder. Here's the path, by the way. Just so you know, you would put it clear in here in the new document profiles. Right, so here's super duper powers. That's where I'd put that file. But know this, it's per version. So I have beta version still on my machine. I have to make sure that file's in there. So for your new machine, it's not gonna carry it over. You need to put it there. But hey, don't think that we're not working on something like that as well. So, but great question. Right in here, we wanna change this, right? We'll go to the right up here, direct selection tool, hit A, boom, there it is, right? We want to change this to maybe a straight point. These are just shortcut keys I would use. Shift C gives me the anchor point tool. Shift C, boom, just like that. And now it's a sharp point, right? Now it's a curved point, but I want it to be a sharp point, just like that. We're out, we're zooming out, we're gonna get this done fast. I don't know if you guys do this. I used, Umar, good to have you here. And welcome everyone else from everywhere else. I'll use the pencil tool a lot, right? Because I just want to draw a little more freeform. So with the pencil tool, initially it's set, you don't want it set to like accurate. To some degree, this pencil tool, if you're using it under sort of the accurate setting, it's not going to look very good. Look at how many points it made. It's like, oh, I'll try to be as straight as possible, but you get all those points. That's not going to work. Double click on the tool And now we can dive into the pencil tool options. Right? So coming in here, I'll take this fidelity down to smooth, okay? And I would say that Illustrator is the one app that where its tools have more tools, because we can jump into the smooth tool. It's just like so many cases of this sort of a new level of using, say, the pencil tool in this case, right? So again, I've changed that to smooth. We can go ahead and draw this out. It looks very lumpy. As I let go, oh, it made it smooth, right? We can hold down the Option key or the Alt key if you're on a PC, and then we can smooth that out by holding down the Option key, because that's in those settings, right? We'll hit I to sample that. Just kind of scrubbing around. And this is why I like doing organic objects. You could play it kind of fast and loose, and nobody's around to say that it's wrong, because it's fine, right? Manipulate that into place. And what else do we have for this? Let's go back out. Let's turn that off. We have these little sort of like buds in the center. I forget what they're called. Right, but again, this is an Illustrator stream, and yeah, not necessarily all about plants, because I don't know everything about plants. I love plants, I do. Let's go ahead and draw this out. There we go. We have these two little, they're called stamina, something. It starts with an S, right? We have these kind of popping out, and then we can put the circles on the end. So that's what I'm gonna do real fast. Drop it on that little circle, flip it. There we go, something kind of like that. Let's change this down to 4. There we go. That's essentially what I want. Bring that over, right over here. Bam, bam. Let's draw out another one. There we go. Just making it happen. Also, when I drag with the Option key down, it's going to duplicate items as well. So that's all I'm doing, folks. Bear with me as I bend this around, right? And this is what I would do right in here. For these, I would start to play with the width tool as well. Okay. All right. All right. All right, so right in here, selecting these different strokes, let's get this back out. Selecting this stroke. I can do a couple things with this now, right? With this stroke selected, I can change its uniformity, right? Like I'm doing right here, to make sure it starts thick and then ends thin. But I'll also use the width tool to do that as well. So right over here, selecting the width tool, coming down here to the bottom right here, I can make it really wide like that. And that's what I do for these, right? Let's drag this out. Let's make it wide, and then let's make it thin at the top. Oops, not you, my friend. Zoop, like that. Using the width tool, that's all I would do in this case. Grabbing this end, shrinking it in like so. Taking these 3 as well, right? So we have this looking pretty good. It's a little bit more dynamic. They're going from large to small. I actually want to change the bottom part as well. So we can go into the stroke. Our properties panel gives me everything I need, but if I click the stroke, we can see we could change the caps. So here I would actually round the caps like so, and now we have these lovely rounded caps, and everything looks pretty good at this point, right? At least 4 stars. Hello, Mustafa. Cool. All right, let's continue on. And for pencil, we'll draw some more fun lines in here, coming out like so, right? And this is something I can do. You ready for this? So notice how these are all uniform, and I really want to take advantage of the width profile and all the specific properties of these lines that I draw. So I'll go right up here. Let's change this, uniform. Let's make let's go with this width profile, right? So I'm just editing this line, but it's like, hey, every time I draw a line, keep it, give it the same profile, the same thickness, and all that fun stuff. So that's why in the appearance panel, and if you remember anything from this, Thomas, Steve, Sam, you guys should hopefully know this, to uncheck this box. So don't reset the line every time I draw a line. Use the last used appearance to draw all the new lines. So new art doesn't have basic appearance. It's kind of hidden in there. And now when that happens, it's like, oh, thank you so much. You are giving me those lovely curves that I want as I start kind of drawing these lovely indentations, something like that, okay? Cool, makes sense. Clear as mud, clear as mud. All right. On the case, fantastic, good to hear. I do the same thing right down here. Let's go with this, let's do this. Let me show you some, well, there's so many things I could show you. I'm trying to calm down. Don't go crazy. Let's have fun creating. Let's throw a fun color in there, right? Send it to the back. Clear back there, like that, right? We have this case where we actually want to move this. This is now the stem. The stem should be underneath everything, right? So we take this in here and we move it down, right? Just like in Photoshop, what we can do is we can hold down the Command key and open bracket will move it down. Closing bracket will move it up, right? So that's what I end up doing. I think Shift Command, closing bracket will move it to the very bottom. So that's how to sort of judge or manipulate your layers. Cool. We have a lovely stem. Okay, where was the art that has the basic appearance? That is under the appearance panel. Uncheck this. New art has basic appearance. And now anytime I happen to draw something else, so let's hit N for pencil. Why did it? It keeps that same stroke, so we could just have some fun sort of creating some elements like so. All right, that's just for this line. Let's just do some leaves just for fun. And right, it's nature. Nature is awesome. Right, there it is. Let's do a leaf up here. I can't even see where I'm drawing with that panel in the way, but it's fine. It looks just fine, okay? So again, I'll just continue to draw. Kind of like that. That's all we're doing. Right, life doesn't have to be hard. There's my first little flower, right? Easy enough. So thank you so much if you're joining me. Oh, exactly, Aaron. You deal with what I do all the time. You get so mad at Illustrator. You're like, why do I have to reset? Why do I have to go back in and change everything? It's like, no, just use those last used strokes. Come on, mouse. My mouse has been working overtime lately. Right in here, let's just kind of clean this up a little bit. I notice it actually does. You know, I kind of need to make this look, the stem look a little smaller, right? Kind of like that. Let's do that. I'm just kind of tweaking it accordingly. Take this, move it over. Like that. Cool. I don't know, pretty simple overall, right? We have this done, this looks fine, right? There's so many different ways we can go with it. Let's go with Cordell's suggestions. Very cool dancing flower. It does look like it's dancing. Well, what we could do with this is we could actually manipulate it and control it like a puppet, since it seems to look very much like a puppet right in here. We'll go to, just behind the free transform tool, we can go to puppet warp tool. So selecting that, right? It automatically, no hands mode, added these pins in all these different places. I'll put one right down here and maybe one at the base, but now I can grab this part and I can move this around like it's dancing, okay? So now I can make this look pretty unique. It's so much easier to do than manipulating into any individual Bezier points. And keep in mind, we could also rotate it. As I click on this, around that circle, right? Look at that. Let's angle that down and move it into place like that, right? So we're just having fun. We're having fun making this lovely flower dance, right? You get the idea. We can take this to the next level, do a number of these flowers if we want to. We could take this flower. Always kind of keep in mind the size of this. But let's save this. Let's save this as flower. And actually, let's save it as a cloud document as flower. Just like so. There we are. We have it saved. Okay, linked objects. So this is something that happens. I'm just gonna get rid of everything else in here. Boom. Let's get rid of it. Let's save this. I saved this as a cloud. I can turn this into a symbol and use the symbol sprayer tool if I wanted to fill a field full of flowers. Try to say that 3 times fast. Right, here's our field. And can we just go ahead and fill this? Boom, right in here. Command, who knows this? I want to join these 2 lines. Command J, we've now joined 2 lines together. Right, here's my lovely field. That's gonna be a certain color and not this green. Come on, you could do better than that. It's like, oh, so basic, Paul. What a basic field, right? So I usually I'm getting out of primary colors. But yeah, there's my field. Let's lock that down. Let's grab this. Let's go to the symbol libraries is down there, but we'll go to the symbols panel and we'll open this up. So right in here, we'll grab this, we'll drop it in like so, and we'll do flower power. Movie clip, it's gonna be dynamic symbol, why not? Click OK, there it is. And now let's have some fun, right? Go into my symbol sprayer right over here. This tool also has a zillion tools in it, but I'm gonna select this symbol sprayer tool. It's gonna use whatever symbol that you have selected. Luckily, I have flower power selected. And now I can click and generate all these flowers. It created so many, it's insane, okay? Don't really want that many. I can push it faster. I can make it, if I go slower, it's actually gonna create more, okay? And this is okay. Like, I've created this symbol. I can go into the shifter tool and start to shift these around, scrunch them, adjust the size. It honestly takes a lot of work, right? The shifter, as I push this around, I'm actually spreading them out more. That's what the symbol shifter does, okay? I'm pushing them around as I work on this field of flowers, right? I'm showing you this. By the way, if I double click on this, I can see the intensity. So I want the intensity up to 40. And then click OK. So that's the shifter. Now it's actually going to be even stronger, and I can make it much stronger at this point. But I'm showing you the symbol sprayer. We can play with this all day long, right? But this is the way I prefer to do things, right? I think this will be really fun. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and turn off that layer, make a new layer. Let's go back to our lovely flower, which is right here. Let's take this and let's drop it into the brushes panel. We'll drop it into the brushes panel. And now this is what I would do, is I would make this a scatter brush, okay? Scatter brush, click OK. And then we get all these lovely settings right in here. So I can have the size go from, not fixed, it's gonna be random, from 0 to, or from 1 to 200, right? And that's what we'll do. The spacing, keep that random, maybe 50 to 200. The scattering, how dense or spaced out that is. I usually do 0 to clear up to 200. Rotation we're not going to worry about, okay? But from there, we'll click OK. We'll hide that one. We'll go up here. We'll hit N for my pencil. Here's my brush that I just made, right? It is selected. And now we can draw out that line, and it starts to make all these lovely flowers that we can then make smaller. I like this. This just gives me some like nice control, because now I just have this one line that I can go in and edit, which is what I'm doing right now. Let's bring this down. Let's bring this whole line down and get all those flowers on that field. Okay? Pretty easy. Pretty easy. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay, we did it. Okay. Let's take this to the next level, because I want to shift. Gosh, that's actually all I have time for. Holy cow. Time flies when you're having fun. But ultimately, what I'd want to do is get this over on my iPad, which I just don't have time for. But you guys get the idea. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. Stay safe. And call your mom. And drink lots of water. And I don't know. Stuff like that. We'll see you guys. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.